Good morning and welcome. My name is Debbie. I'm also known as Nonna, and this is Dreamcrafted Creations. And I decided to do another sourdough episode, and this one is with cinnamon and sugar, and also a plain one for Alice because she loved the last one I made. And also trying to get a little bit of crochet in. So this is where I came so far. You'll see in the video. Didn't get a lot of crocheting done while trying to video and make sourdough breads, but if you've been watching me for some time, thank you very much. And if you're new, thank you for clicking in, and I hope you stay a while. And everyone, grab a cup of coffee because this one is a little long, but also too, it's a little scary. It's like a day in the life of Nonna. So with the 2 days to make this, so hopefully you'll stay to the end and see how my cinnamon sourdough comes out. It's the Memorial Day weekend. It's Friday. I was gonna get up early and I want to make some breads today and probably crochet all day. I found this pattern for these beautiful flowers and they have little fairy dolls in them. Look at them, how cute. And oh, I have a little hummingbird also too over at my door. If I can, I'm gonna put a picture up here because I have a hummingbird feeder that has actually a camera in it, and it's, which I got at Mother's Day. No, I got for my birthday. And it is so cool to watch the hummingbirds all day long here from my kitchen, or from my camera. But my camera's on right here, so I can't show you right now. But wow, I haven't even woken up yet. But what I want to do is the flower fairy flowers. I want to make 6 of them. 6 of the grandchildren are in recitals over the next couple of weeks. And I want to give them something, and I don't want to give them live flowers. They're just going to die. It's not going to be something they can remember. But I figured if I made something and they would be able to remember it and hopefully they'll like it. So I'm going to try to make these fairy doll flowers. I did start the other day, and I have to say this is a little bit of a stitch and bitch because I was really frustrated. I've done a lot of amigurumi, but I started on the head of her pattern. And I think, and I actually got even farther. It's like another ball down here, and then you add to it for the flower. But I just couldn't, like, the pattern has no pictures, and I don't know, it just wasn't clicking to me what I should do. It was kind of vague. And so anyways, I started ripping it out. I actually had to cut it off, and then I got frustrated. She has eyes on them, and it got to this point, and I thought, well, I can't even put the safety eyes in because it's too small now. And it just looked all kind of wonky. So I searched YouTube, and I actually found, and I will link it below, a woman doing, it looks like the exact same flower, but it's not the same name. So I'm really not sure what's going on here. But between the pattern and at least visually watching it now, I have a better idea. And I started a new one, and it's a lot smaller, and I put the safety eyes on. And so look, I went down in hook size. This is what happens. These are pins, and it's much rounder, in better shape. And I was working on it last night, but it got late, and I just said, put this down or you're gonna make mistakes again. So I'm gonna start working on this again today in between doing my sourdough bread. And I'll give you my progress with that. But so it's 20:07. I am gonna go work out at 8 o'clock, and that's gonna be an hour. So I have to work the bread and everything around my schedule today. But look how cute it's coming out. So this is 20:07 in the morning. I will let you know my progress. So one of the things I was having problems with this is I forgot how to join the row in amigurumi, and she did not say it in the pattern. So what I found on YouTube is you slip stitch into the first stitch and chain one. But what I was doing with that, because I actually Googled it while I was doing this, it was somehow I was adding another stitch. So every row was off and I was getting frustrated. But once I found a pretty good YouTube, I realized that the chain one you don't count. So I think I'm on track, back on track now with the amigurumi. Like I said, I've made several amigurumis. If you look back on my vlogs, I did the Peek-a-Paws, the Christmas vlogs, I did the Peek-a-Paws. Last year's recital, I did a bunny, but I don't know, I had a brain fog and couldn't figure it out, but I have it now. I figured it out. And as far as the sourdoughs, oh, look, I made them, I fed them last night at 10:30, and these are like pet rocks. Remember pet rocks back in the day? If you're my age, you know. Let me know in the comments if you remember pet rocks. These have to be fed every day, and they just sit on the counter like a pet rock. But they also are multiplying. I mean, you don't have to let them multiply, but I feel bad throwing out all the discard. So I have one, and look how great. This is how they're supposed to look before you bake. So I have that one, two, that one's great, three, this one's great, they're all great, and four. So this is a little bit more than doubled, but they're all fine for starting my breads. So I have to leave here probably in about less than an hour. And then when you mix this the first time, it has to sit and rest for 30 minutes. And then we start our stretch and pulls. So I think I'm gonna have quite enough time. So I think what I'm gonna do is continue on with my little fairy dolls, finish my coffee, get ready for the gym. And when I come back and start my sourdough bread, I'll start my sourdough bread, and then I will work on my fairy dolls, and I don't know what else. Today's mine. I can do whatever I want. So this will be a little bit of a stitch and bitch, a knit and chat. Okay, so I am ready to go to workout. I have to say, I am so sick of working out, but I know I have to do it. I know it's good for me. I like to knit and sew. I work in an office, and all those things are sedentary. So sedentary. I don't even know how to say words, but I have to go water the flowers too. My husband got a lot of flowers, and I'm gonna water those, and he's gonna plant them this weekend. But that's what I'm gonna do right now, and then I'll start my sourdough process. I worked on my little fairy doll. See how she's coming out? The thing is, if you do amigurumi, let me know. I always get like little holes here, and I do the invisible decreases and all that stuff. I don't know if it's the yarn. And by the way, I didn't tell you, this is a 1.75 millimeter. This is a Natura Just Cotton DMC. I've had it in my stash forever. I bought this peach color so that if I did dolls, I would have the skin color that I wanted. And these are, I don't even know the name. Hold on. Oh, these are from Lily's Lyric. She's on Etsy. And this is, oh, I have my glasses. I can show you. This is a 50 gram, 1.8 ounce, number 2 fine 4-ply, great for crocheting. So this is really good yarn for the flowers. And that's it. So let's go water the flowers. Okay, so I am back. I am a mess. This is something. I have to get this sourdough rolling. They're still risen. They still rose. This one looks like it might be falling a little bit, so I'm not sure. But what I want to make is cinnamon raisin sourdough bread. And I found the That Sourdough Girl, and she has a recipe. So I'm going to try to follow that today and see how that goes and see if I can get 2 or 3 breads made today. No, I won't get the breads made today. I'm going to get them all to the point of refrigeration, and then I will make them tomorrow morning. So, do you see my door just opened? That's my cat, Fluff. Hey, kitty, kitty, kitty. That was weird that she opened the door. All right, I'll be back in a little bit. I gotta get this flour and everything made up, take a shower, do a little crochet, and so here's my Fluff girl. Here she is. Hi. Look at her eyes, how blue they are. But that was weird that the door opened like that. I don't know. I don't usually leave the door open. But anyways, there's my little girl. So I'm gonna go mix the flour, let it sit for a half an hour, take my shower, come back, and then we're gonna start some stretch and pulls, a little crochet in between, and see what else the day brings. Bye. Okay, I am back. I got to the point of 1 stretch and fold for each. I made 3 loaves, bowls full of dough. I marked the bowls so I know which one's which. So basically the first 2 bowls, I am going to do cinnamon raisin sourdough breads, and the third one I'm going to do plain. And I used Sourdough Gal. Say that 10 times fast. Sourdough Gal. I used her recipe mostly. I'm not a big follow everything by the tea person. I kind of wing it, and her starter is different than mine. And like I said, everything's linked below, so you can go follow her and follow the recipe. I'm just kind of using her as a guideline. And then for the third one, because I want to make it plain, I still did use the Keep It Sweet Kitchen recipe. But again, I haven't been real specific with the amounts of my starters. I just have been making them like 50 grams starter, 50 grams water, 50 grams flour, and then I just use that and however many grams they tell me to use for the starter. So I'm not sure, you know, like I said, I'm not doing everything to the T, but let's see if they work out, just kind of winging it. But my raisins are old. These are 2025, so I have to go to the store and get some new raisins. By the time I get back, I'll do my stretch and pull, and then I will work on some crochet. It's only 11:35, but once I do my stretch and pulls and go into fermentation, I'll be able to sit here for a while and work on my fairy doll, fairy flower. So I will see you back in a little while. Okay, we are on I am on my final pull and fold. I have 3 doughs here, and I let a little bit more than a half an hour go in between because I needed to go get my raisins, and I decided to get gold ones too, and I think I'm gonna add some walnuts. So basically for the cinnamon, what she says is butter, cinnamon, and brown sugar. So again, recipe link below. I'm not going to measure everything out here, but let's do our last pull and fold, and then we will put them in bowls to ferment. Okay, we are ready for fermentation to proof them, and I have my caps marked 1 and 2, so I'm going to take the actual 1 and 2 and put them in the bowls. And these were the same recipe, except 2 was done in the KitchenAid mixer and this one was by hand. So that's pretty much the only difference. And then we are going to do cinnamon and sugar and walnuts and all that, but that doesn't go in till the next phase. And they are going to sit in these proofing bowls for, I don't know, it could be, you know, 4, it could be 8 hours. They say it's all on the temperature of the room. I'll put one on because last time I got these all mixed up. And I want to wash this bowl out because I don't have another one of these, and I'll do that for number 3. And so here's 2. And I have to say, I think 1 was the least stickiest. And that one I did all by hand. So I got those 2. We're gonna wash these. Okay, so I cleaned this one out, and I think this is the best because it's literally almost the same height as this, and clear. We'll be able to see how much it actually proofs, and but it is a little sticky. And if you saw in the time lapse right before this, I did add a little bit more flour. But this number 3 is going to be the plain sourdough, and it was made with the original recipe that I had used in my first video. Keep It Sweet Kitchens, or something like that. But we put this in here. We're gonna cover it up. All these are sitting here. See how full they are? When I come back, I will do the big reveal. It's 2:05, so let's see how long it takes for them to proof. I'm gonna go sit and I'm gonna crochet and I'll get back to you with my progress. So that last clip was where I ended because my daughter and her 3 kids came over and there just wasn't any more time to video. But in that section between that period in the morning, I did fill it with some cinnamon, butter, brown sugar, flour mixture, and raisins and nuts, rolled it all up and put them into their proofing baskets or Benetton baskets and put them in the refrigerator for the night. So it's the next morning. And I also want to say that while I've been videoing this, I made a few mistakes, but I'm going to try to fix them along the way. So stay tuned. Okay, so I actually took these hot pans out of the oven. They were in there for 45 minutes at 450, and I also scored the breads. Scored them. This is the first one. Okay, and that's the second one. Okay, we'll wait 20 minutes. We'll see how they look. And just so you know, they're pretty heavy. So I'll be back soon. So this is after 20 minutes cooking covered. I'm going to put the cover back on and we're gonna do another 20 minutes. Let me show you the next loaf. This is the second loaf and it's exploded a little bit, but it looks good. So another 20 minutes and let's see if it's done. So this is what it looks like after 20 minutes uncovered, and it definitely is the right temperature, if not even more. So I'm going to take this out along with the other one, which is pretty much the same, you'll see. So I'm going to take this bread, look at this, out of the oven, out of the Dutch oven. Let's put it back because I do have the other sourdough plain one that I have to still cook. Let's move this over here, get this out of the way. And I have one more to put here. So I have to say, here's the second one. I'll get it out. But, well, here's the second one. Look at that. Oh my God. So I do have to say, and let's get this out from under here. Let's look at the bottom. All intact, all intact. I have to tell you, my little design didn't come out very well. But when I started, when I rolled these, I have to say the cinnamon and stuff, they weren't completely enclosed. But once I baked them, I mean, this one looks like it oozed a little bit, but it's all intact. It's all intact. Things that happened, this one I forgot to uncover. You know, one was with the machine, one was by hand, all kinds of things, you know, but they still come out okay. However, like I said, it's like buying a house. until we cut into the inside, until you get the keys to that house, we don't know how successful we were. But I am going to finish the plain sourdough. Stay tuned and hopefully get some crocheting done today. Don't forget the squirt. Okay guys, this is my third and final sourdough bread for this week. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna do one next week. It's been a lot. This is actually my 7th sourdough bread, but we are done except for cutting and eating, but we will probably do that after I get through this. Here it is, and it looks pretty perfect again. Oh my. Well, so here it is. This is a plain one. You know, they get dark on the bottom, but they're fine. Oh my. I did not get a lot of crocheting done during making this bread and trying to video. It was a lot to fit in, and the fairy dolls I'm working on are pretty complicated. So I hope to come back to you next week with just making my crocheted fairy dolls. That is the plan. So until then, I hope you can maybe be inspired and make some sourdough bread, but I did leave out a few little steps that I want to add in. Before you put it in the oven, after you've scored it, definitely give it a couple of spritzes of water, and you should be good to go. Okay, so this is it. This is the big reveal. This is a little flatter than the other one. And I actually think though, this was the one that I did in the machine, but I think it flattened because a lot of the cinnamon and the sugar was oozing out. But let's cut it, let's see. And I have a horrible bread knife. I have a good one coming. So whenever I get to be making sourdough bread again, I will show it to you. Okay, here it is. Here it is. So, do you see the swirls? There's nuts. Oh my God. I wish you could smell it. But anyways, there is my cinnamon raisin nut sourdough bread for the week. I hope you have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend, and maybe you can make some sourdough bread for yourself as well. Let me know in the comments. This is delicious. So good.